I've joined the Rawvolution at Naturaw because I know that not all raw food is created equal. I'm passionate about feeding dogs as nature intended. After all, you are what you eat, and so is your dog. At Naturaw, there are no compromises, no confusion, just real raw food made with integrity and a conscience, offering 100% transparency, supporting British farmers, and only using the highest welfare assured ingredients is so important. They're a certified B Corp and reduce their carbon footprint by utilizing solar power and planting trees. They only use completely plastic-free packaging that's home compostable. Prudence and Mr. Binks are simply loving their nutrient-dense and balanced recipes. So try Naturaw today. Just go to naturaw.co.uk and grab 20% off your first purchase with my code AnnaWeb20. Join the Rawvolution and feed exceptional raw food. Hello, I'm Anna Webb, and welcome to this week's episode of A Dog's Life. I'm chatting to the landscape gardener, Matt Keightley, all about his showcase at the upcoming Chelsea Flower Show that begins tomorrow. And this episode is powered by Antonol and fueled by Naturaw. Matt Keightley, thank you so much for joining me on A Dog's Life.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Anna.
No, it's so great, that you're on, because I know you're actually speaking to us from the Chelsea Flower Show right now, and you're in your sauna that's going to feature, am I right, as part of your designed garden?
That's exactly it. It's the only place on site actually I can find some peace and quiet, but fortunately the heater's not on and I'm fully dressed, so we're okay.
So, oh my gosh, so have you got plans for people to use it during the show?
Well, you never really know on press day. Everyone goes a little bit nuts and it's all very exciting. The celebrations start on Monday the 18th. So who knows? I'll be sure to send photos if they do.
Oh, wow. Well, no, that's great. Well, saunas are very good for you, of course. No, but but saunas aren't great for dogs, though, Matt, are they really?
No, they're not. No, they're not. Especially as they can't control their temperature very well. So
Exactly.
not for the dogs.
Not for the dogs, but you're a dog owner yourself, and I'm sure your dogs have a wonderful garden to enjoy, through the year, to take in the sights, the sounds, and the smells just of a natural environment.
They do. They love it. It's the first thing they do. Every day we wake up and they bolt outside and go and get a hit of all the fragrances and probably the local cats and foxes that have been through. But they absolutely love it. It's a relatively small urban garden, so we don't actually have a lawn. We just have nice deep planting beds, and that's what our dogs love. They run through them. They have their little runs. They they spend as much time as we do out there, really. As long as we're out there, they're kind of following us around. They're in the planting or they're up on the seating with us. I'm afraid to say we do let them on our benches and
Of
in our swing seat.
No, of course. Gosh, I mean, I do the same. I mean, I think gardens are so important, but there's a lot to consider, isn't there? With gardens. I know from speaking for myself here, they can be daunting. I've got quite a big garden, actually. It's too big for me. And so at this time of year, it's one of those like, oh no, here we go. Got to get it tidy, got to power hose it. I've got some lawn and some paving and some raised areas. It's actually, I think, Matt, you'd have a field day in my garden, actually. And you'd be like, Anna, no, we need to do this. And maybe take that out and then replace replace it with this, but it's a daunting thought. And you've done a study, haven't you, or a survey on, how people feel about their gardens, and why I think with the best intentions, people kind of give up and think, oh, it's okay as it is, when it could be a lot better.
You're absolutely right. It's daunting because people lack the confidence and the knowledge to know what to do, and that's totally fair. There's a lot that goes into making a beautiful garden. Knowing what the right plants are to put where to consider seating spaces, how you might plan the garden for your dogs, so where they're going to use the garden to go to the loo. But we have carried out a survey, and that's all part of developing a new business, developing an app, and launching that at Chelsea that will help people like you run through a really simple design process, check your own preferences, and that includes actually adding pets. And the app will generate designs for you and steer you on a process that makes it fun, enjoyable, inspiring, and ultimately helps you create a sanctuary for you and your animals.
Yes, that's amazing. I think I will definitely download this app. How interesting. What a great idea, to be honest with
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, just to inspire people, give them a little help, a bit of inspiration, really. It's that I think that's missing.
Hey, Anna.
Hey, Mike.
So we've just finished Billy's first 60 days of Antinol, and wow, what a difference.
Really? Oh my gosh, what have you noticed?
Well, he's shinier. He's much more energetic. Not that he wasn't beforehand, but you can see the difference. But remember, I told you he used to have that little limp in his back left paw that he'd hurt himself when he was a pup. It's like he
Yes,
doesn't seem
yes.
to do that much anymore.
What, the hop, skip, and the jump?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like his joints are a bit better. And we actually had friends around this weekend who'd noticed that there was something good about Billy. And I was telling them about Antinol, and they said, "Oh, what's in it?" I said, "Well, green lip mussel." And they said, "What's that?" And I go, "Oh, well, I don't know. I'll have to ask Anna," as I always do. So
Well,
for next
green
time, what should I say? What's so great
well,
about green lip mussel?
well, green-lip mussel, it comes from New Zealand. It's the only place that green-lip mussels live. And what's great about the green-lip mussel is that it is what's known as a broad spectrum source of omega-3. And the reason dogs need to take omega-3 is that their bodies don't make it themselves. So unless they're getting it through, their diet, which can be omega-6 heavy. And it's very important to have a balance between omega-6 and omega-3. So it's normally through supplements that omega-3 is given. And green lip mussel is unique in its having everything from EPA, DHA, and ETA. So all the main omega-3s.
And how about Binks and Prudence? They must be much better as well.
Yeah, well, they've been on it for over a year, and they've been on green lip mussel forever since I've had them. So Prue's 10 now. So she's had green lip mussel since the first day I brought her home, to be honest, but not Antinol. And I only wish I'd discovered Antinol earlier. I really honestly mean that, because it's an oil rather than a powder. So its bioavailability, that means, its effectivity to get absorbed quickly and efficiently by the body, is greater.
So people listening now and they want to discover Antinol for themselves, where do they go?
Well, all you have to do is go to Antinol, ANTINOL.co.uk, and then type in Anna Webb and get your special discount. Should we just touch on toxic plants? Because I've got a lot of herbs in my garden.
Yep.
So we have rosemary. We've got 3 different sages. Are you impressed?
I'm very impressed. And do you use them for cooking, or is it just the nice aromas that they kick up?
The nice aromas. We've got a bay tree as well, actually, which
Nice.
yeah, I do use the bay leaves actually occasionally in a tomato sauce or something. Not that I'm a great cooker.
I love it myself. I really really enjoy cooking both inside and al fresco. I'm constantly on the barbecue, so have a number of pots in the garden too, where it's full of herbs. You can tug them away, and actually they're fine for the dogs to be running around, and not a problem. And so there's I think like anything, you need to be cautious when you are planting, when you go to the garden centre and you're selecting what it is you might think looks good for your space. Um, and just be sensible. So herbs generally are fine. Um, the plants to avoid are foxgloves. Foxgloves, lily of the valley. That's a little early spring bulb actually that comes up. You want to avoid that. Oleander, not many people in this country will have it. It's more of a Mediterranean plant. But yeah, no, herbs are a great starting point. That's the perfect choice to put for you and your dog, really. If you're going to be cooking and the dogs are running through the space, that's ideal.
Yeah. Because sometimes people also get a bit worried about bulbs. If a dog were to dig one up and then chew it, and it got caused a stomach blockage or a throat blockage, that's
Yeah.
another factor. But digging in the garden, train your dog maybe to dig in one area if they are diggers, or try and train digging out of the garden completely.
Yeah, and another nice idea because it's a shame just to write off bulbs altogether. And a neat way to try and include them is actually putting them in pots because the dogs won't often jump up and try and dig or scrabble around at pots, and that's a neat way to get some colour and interest into the garden and keeping your dog safe.
Yes, no, pots are brilliant. Actually, I mean, all my things are in pots.
Nice.
Yeah, it works quite well. Just from a tidying point of view, really,
Yeah, of course.
and texture and height. But what because I think, it doesn't need to be super complicated, the garden, Matt. Would you agree?
Definitely.
If you were going to give someone, three top tips, if they're feeling a bit garden blues rather than garden sunny face, what would you suggest? Because the Chelsea
So,
Flower Show, it's all over the news. Everyone's thinking, gosh, I really want my garden to be like that.
yeah, yeah. Well. Firstly, and I have to say this is Chelsea is massively inspiring, but it's what you do with that inspiration that counts. So how do we help people go from Chelsea to actually recreating that at home? And you'll get that from the app. You'll get that from SpaceLift. So download the app on press day, and in the meantime, join the wait list at spaceliftapp.com. But in terms of some simple strategies to really lift and create some real impact in your garden this spring and summer. I would start with layering the plants. So think about the textures, go 70, maybe even 80% evergreen so that you've got year-round interest and a really nice form and structure to your bed. And then change that between quite robust, leathery leaf looking evergreen shrubs and then potentially some evergreen grasses, which will help with the movement. They'll animate the space, and they'll give the dogs actually different textures to run through. So you might be able to throw the ball for them, and it'll bounce off the more hardy shrub, and it won't be a problem. But then the grasses give way to allow the dogs to run through the beds and fetch out to the back of the borders.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the texture actually, because also under their feet, you can have your grass area. I've got an area as well that's old red bricks that I love.
Nice.
Yeah, I love particularly when they've just been power hosed. They're snazzy. So you've got some bricks, and then they can lie on the bricks and get a bit of heat when it's not too hot, but adds a bit of warmth for them. And then we've just got a bit of sort of crazy paving going on as well. So
Yes.
I think, from an enrichment point of view, gardens can do an awful lot without doing anything, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, they really can, and this often gets overlooked, but a water bowl outside is really important. It's something that I, I I work for a lot of people that have dogs, and the food and water's inside. Well, actually, it's quite handy just to have a decent wide bowl outside. Fill it with the hose each time you're outside, and it keeps the dogs interested in the garden. It keeps them outside. They don't need to run in and out just to stay well watered. And we just tuck it in amongst the planting. We've got a couple out there, and it works really well.
Now that is good, but the the cautious person that I am is, to be a bit mindful because of lungworm. And
Yeah.
if, a nasty slug were to kind of crawl into the water, I mean, cases of lungworm, vary from region to region in the UK, obviously. But I do hear you about having water, obviously. But that's the beauty of a garden. You're never that far away from a tap because you've
No,
got one
exactly.
indoors, compared to getting stranded in the middle of nowhere on a 40-degree sunny day. You're in trouble then. So I always think, on very hot days, just use the garden,
Yeah.
and always create some shade for your dogs. And let's not forget cats here as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've got an outdoor cat, and he has his water bowl, but it's high up because cats, of course, like to have perches where they can pretend they're lions and overlook their land.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so cats, again, got to avoid the lilies for cats. They're remarkably toxic for a cat.
Yeah, same with daffodils too. So it's the bulbs. You've got to be cautious.
Yes, yes.
Some ivies too.
Oh, really? With, I suppose,
Yeah,
yes, poison ivy, I suppose,
yeah.
yeah. Gosh, yes. Oh, that's a worry. I do have some ivy growing over the fence. I don't know
But
what
but
sort
but
it is.
but just because you've got it doesn't mean your animals are going to start snacking on it. You just need to keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure they'll be fine.
Yeah, well, cats are good like that. They're not like dogs, they don't scavenge like a dog, they in fact they're very fussy eaters as they go. But it's just the dogs that are more of a problem. But no, Matt, amazing. So this app, so I just love the name of it. It's genius.
Thank
SpaceLift.
you.
I mean, SpaceLift, obviously.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense and gives us the opportunity down the line to potentially consider going inside too. So it's not just gardens, but it's how can we help people improve their spaces generally. But my expertise lies in gardening. I've been designing and building gardens for 25 years now, so it's that knowledge base that is the foundation of the app, and it's helping people that wouldn't necessarily consider employing a designer, might be looking to do the work themselves, but just need a bit of a helping hand. So taking inspiration from the likes of Chelsea Flower Show and often Pinterest, but not knowing what to do with that. So the app fills that gap and gets them over the line.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I absolutely love it. Now, you've got dogs yourself. You've mentioned them. So tell
I
us a bit
do.
more. Tell us a bit more about your own doggies.
Anna, I'm interested because often people think you either look like your dog or you can tell which breeds of dogs people have got just by looking at them. What do you think, having seen my mug?
Ah, well, okay. Okay. Well, the spoiler is I know already what they are. Ah,
Ah, okay. Well,
but
in
okay,
that
but
case,
well, I'll play the game. Okay. So what I will say, um, okay, so I notice you've got a very short, um, thick, quite a wiry head of hair. Am I right?
yeah,
Am I
yeah, that's
going
fair.
down
That's
the right?
fair.
So
I'll
might
take
I
thick.
suggest that one of your pooches is a wire-haired dachshund?
Yes, correct, correct. So I'll give you a bit of a backstory. So I grew up with I had first dog was a German Shepherd, and then I had a Goldie. I had a Retriever. My wife grew up with wire-haired Dachshunds,
Oh,
and we we had a long conversation. It probably took us 2 or 3 years to decide on what we were going to get and making sure the girls, so Poppy and Sophie, are now 11 and 9, but at the time, getting to the point where actually they were going to help us look after them and be responsible and be really proud dog owners. And so the conversation came where I stubbornly wanted big dogs. Kate was only familiar with slightly smaller dogs. And we met in the middle. We met on Cockapoo first, really lovely little cockapoo called Juno. And we have since actually inherited the wirehead. So Kate's dream came true. We've basically adopted her mum's sausage dog.
ah,
And
sausage.
and so we have We have two, and actually we weren't sure how they were going to integrate, but they're very happy together. Juno thinks she's the alpha because it's her home and her family, but actually they get on really well.
Oh, no, that's always a sticky moment, as to
Mm.
whether they will, cohabit happily. But generally, with some boundaries and training and so on, they accept one another, generally speaking, I'd say.
Yeah, they do, and I have to say, Herbie, the Dachshund is he's a bit yappy. He's he yaps a lot. He doesn't. I think he gets slightly anxious when we leave the room, but we're getting there with him. We're getting there. He's certainly. I mean, the girls very quickly within the first week decided he was one of the family, and that was it. So no turning back.
Is he a miniature or a standard?
Standard,
Oh,
standard.
no, I like a standard because you do feel you've just got more of a dog. I always think, there's
Yeah,
quite a lot of sausage, but not always a lot of dog with the dachshund.
yeah, and I feel like the owners are super passionate about them because anyone else with one in the park stops you and wants to talk, and they're nothing but love for them.
Absolutely. Well, this is it. And the wire-haired ones, they you don't see them that often, and definitely not the standard variety. So I know Peter Purvis, the old Blue Peter presenter, he's really passionate about standard wire-haired dachshunds.
Yeah.
Piece of funny knowledge there for everyone to share. No, that's so great. Oh, look, Matt. Well, look, I wish you, all the best, at Chelsea coming up. Is it that you're all in a competition? I mean, obviously, I tune into the Chelsea Flower Show. I've been there a couple of times, and I know it's quite a competitive environment to get placed for your garden. So there must be a bit of pressure going on with you at the moment.
Yeah, there always is, and not between. I don't think between designer to designer. More just you want to show the best gardens you possibly can, and so we up the ante a bit with 3 gardens ourselves. But it was the best way I could think of to represent the new app to show 3 different styles, and so that's what visitors are going to see is the finished, the beautiful, the immaculate gardens that not just our team are delivering, but the whole way across the show, and what the public don't see, and it's pretty amazing actually. We're a matter of days away from the world's media descending on the showground, and yet it's still a building site, and it's
Oh,
whipped into shape in a matter of days, and it's just really quite something to be part of.
gosh, yes. I bet it is. No, I mean, amazing. I really should get down this year actually, and hopefully come and meet you. That would be great.
That would be great.
Yeah, I mean, out of interest, are dogs allowed at the Chelsea Flower Show?
They're not. The only dogs you'll see are the security dogs because the king obviously comes round, and so the sniffer dogs come through, and that's about all you'll see. I don't know whether so often there'll be a charity or someone will present a garden, and I don't know whether there's some kind of dog society that have ever done a garden and allowed dogs on, but no, you don't tend to see them.
Oh, that's a shame. But I can understand that, you wouldn't want someone cocking their leg, on your prized
No,
showcase.
exactly. Scorching the plants on the edges.
That's it, before the judges had come round, that would be a very bad look. And,
Yes.
but owners should always, manage their dogs, make sure their dogs are never a nuisance. And if an accident happens, you're prepared and have everything on you like a poo bag. That's something, one of my bugbears, actually. I don't know about where you live, Matt, but where I live at the moment, people are not picking up, and I just feel it just lets down every single dog in the country, everyone that is left on the ground. Yeah, 2 near misses earlier today, actually, as there shouldn't have been anywhere I was walking. And then suddenly you're like, oh, and you have to do a kind of crazy jump and a hop to avoid it.
Yeah, nightmare. We're fortunately that people tend to be pretty good around our area, and we kind of go on the school run, and lots of people take dogs on the school run, so it's kind of one big team where I am.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, it's good to hear, actually. So, yeah, that's brilliant. Well, Matt, as I say, SpaceLift, yeah, it's like takeoff next week. And
I hope so. I hope so.
and really, wish you all the success, definitely, at what is like a massive global event.
Thank you so much, Anna. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you. That's our show, everyone. Well, I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go on, rate and review the show wherever you tune into your podcasts. Thanks again, of course, to Matt for joining us today and talking us through some great tips for a dog-friendly garden. Thanks, of course, to Mike Hanson, my producer, for all the music and production as ever. And if you're interested in finding out some more about Antonol and about Naturaw, go to my website, to my recommendations page, where you'll find lots of more information and, of course, details about my discount codes. And if you haven't already, go on, subscribe, because it's free, and that way you'll never miss another show. Bye for now.